What's up everyone, welcome back for another video. Thanks for joining me. Today's video we are gonna kind of go over the PCSL experience. Well, at least mine. It was my first time this past week, 2 weeks ago. And I've kind of noticed there's not too many videos going over like PCSL stuff other than just kind of like footage of shooting. So we're gonna have a little bit of footage, probably overviewed while I'm talking about some certain stuff and try to keep it short and sweet. And we're just gonna go over PCSL and if you should shoot it. Let's do it. So for those of you that do not know what PCSL is, I'm assuming you kind of have an idea if you came to this video. It's similar-ish to USPSA, but it's its own thing. Max Leograndis's league that he made. I don't want to sound like an expert here because I shot one match, but I guess that kind of makes me an expert, right? I think it leans a little bit more towards the two-gun. I know Nationals last year was two-gun in Nevada somewhere, but I think this year it's actually in Southern Utah, so that's pretty sick. I'll probably throw it on the screen. Target is a little different than USPSA or the IPSC target, so there is this target here. There is Alpha, Charlie, Delta, and then a K-zone. So the K-zone is the head box there. That is worth 10 points. So if you shoot one in the head box there in that K-zone, that's worth 2 alphas. So if you need 2 hits on paper, you only need 1 hit there to clear the target, I guess you would say. Kind of cool, but the way the target is designed, kind of not the greatest, so we'll get to that in a second. So this was the target that was up until I think the end of last year. This year they started a new target, which is a little more difficult to find at the moment because it's still early on in the year, but with the old style target, you had the A zone that kind of surrounds the K zone. So if you're trying for K zone shots and you shoot, it looks like you hit one, you keep moving, and then it turns out you're outside of the K zone. That's 1 alpha and then 1 mic or a miss. So it's kind of, you could kind of play a game that way if you want to try to minimize your shots, but it could kind of bite you in the ass. But that's how that works. So same scoring as USPSA. Alpha is 5, Charlie is 3, Delta is 1. There's no major and minor scoring like there is in USPSA. It's all just minor scoring. Then like I said, we have that K zone, or now I believe it's the T zone, which is worth 10 points. The target's kind of cool. I kind of like the shape a little bit better. I don't know. All right, so one thing with the targets also, so if you're doing the two gun, your pistol targets are, let's see, I actually have USPSA like little scale dry fire ones, so we'll just use this. Your pistol targets are the brown, and then rifle targets are going to be white. So if you're coming from the USPSA, white, no good. White is bad. Don't hit the white. In PCSL, white is for your rifle. The no shoot, which would be the equivalent of this for USPSA, no shoot for PCSL is actually red with a black X going through it. So that is the no bueno, don't shoot me target. Next thing from that would be your divisions. So your divisions, you have a competition, I'm talking about two gun here. I believe they have a one gun format also, but two gun format, you have a competition division and a practical division. The competition division, there's basically very low amount of restrictions on it. It's a 171 millimeter magazines, doesn't state magazine capacity, so if you could fit 50 rounds in there, go for it. For your rifle, there's basically no limit. You could have a light and bolt carrier, ridiculous muzzle brake, no limit on magazines. And if you wanted to, in the competition division, you could actually use a PCC instead of the rifle, depending on what stage you're doing. I believe you could switch out between whatever you want in that division. Then the other division, which is the more like normal-ish one, is the practical division. So practical, there is a limit on the magazines. I don't think there's a limit on the size, but there's a limit on how much you could load in them, which I feel like they got to work on that a little bit, because if someone's not honest, they could stuff 24 rounds in their magazine as opposed to 21. So for the practical division, the pistol is 21 rounds in the magazine plus 1 in the chamber if you wanted to, and then rifle is 30 rounds in the magazine plus 1 in the chamber if you wanted to on that. So you do have a limit there. So if you're doing practical division and there's a lot of shots, you do have to plan a little bit more, as opposed to No limit on your other stuff where you may not have to reload, or only reload once as opposed to twice if you needed to on the practical division, depending how it works out. That's up to you. Choose what you want to do. I shot practical division the last one because my gear actually fell into that with the rifle I was shooting. Now I'm actually just going to play this video myself as I'm going through it here. So the stage you're looking at right now is actually my first ever PCSL stage, and I was actually the first one to go out of my group, which was a little nerve-wracking, considering I have been shooting USPSA for just over a year, like very consistently. So kind of like first stage jitters are not much there for me anymore. But with this, I was feeling the jitters. A little weird running around with the rifle. My experience with shooting the rifle is mainly just going out in like the desert or whatever, setting up a target or two and kind of shooting. Haven't done much movement with the rifle, so it was kind of a learning curve there. Moving, it kind of eventually came second nature, but just the first stage jitters of it was a little weird. And you're seeing the pistol stuff now. I have been shooting my M&P 2.0 pretty much exclusively since middle of last year. So this staccato P, this was the first time shooting this since I want to say September of last year, and it's February now. A little bit of a learning curve on that. So kind of with the presentation and finding the dot was a little bit different because different grip angle and whatnot. But overall, pistol came more natural than the rifle, obviously, because I have a little bit more experience with that. So as you see also in the footage on the first stage, this was the gun I used. This is my Sig Spear LT. Care to see a video about it? I do have a video that I made about this gun. You can go check it out. I'll link it in the top corner. There's a few changes to this setup from that video. I might do like a quick little update video on it, but I did run the can on it, and I will try to get some better footage of it. The first stage, the dump box, had a little bit of carpeting in it. And as you see, we shot 30-ish rounds in a short amount of time, and Suppressor was smoking when we went into the second-ish position. Finished my whole rifle shot shooting, dropped this in the dump box, and then we melted the carpeting onto the suppressor. So yeah, let's talk about that. So let's go over, should you use a suppressor? This one is still up in the air. If you're going to use the suppressor, make sure you're the first person on the stage or early in the lineup. If the dump boxes do not have any carpeting on it, big plus. If they do, maybe don't use one. And if you're towards the end of the lineup, don't use one, because you have to throw this gun right in your bag and move to the next stage, unless you have a suppressor cover. I'm considering getting a cheap E-ish one just to throw on for when I shoot PCSL. And that would really be the only time to use a suppressor cover in my mind. I don't need it for Mirage or anything like that to keep it down. I'm not shooting long distance. From my understanding, I could be wrong, it kind of shortens the life of your suppressor by holding in all that heat with the cover on. I could be wrong, like I said, I don't know shit. But should you use a suppressor? If you have one, go for it. Don't buy one for PCSL, but if you have one, shoot it because it's cool. Let's go over some of the stuff that I use. So first off, like I kind of mentioned before with the guns, so this is my staccato P. This is what we shot for pistol. Stainless steel metal grip on it. Kind of like it. Big fan. I don't know why I don't shoot it more often, because it shoots really good. For the rifle, this is my Sig Spear LT. This is an SBR, so I can technically shoot it. I feel like that's in the rules. I know it is for USPSA if you want to shoot a PCC. It has to be a legit pistol caliber carbine or SBR. So I know, like, if you're using like a Flux Raider, I know the one guy does that. It has to be a SBR'd. I don't remember if that's the rule with this, but this is an SBR. Shot this. It was great fun. I think the most rounds consecutively I've put through this thing since I've got it, because I've been focusing more on pistol lately. think I'm gonna start focusing a little more on rifles since we're gonna have PCSL a little more frequently at my range. Quick rundown, like I said, SBR, die-free Co grip, emissary handbrake. Ferro Concepts is the thingy for the swivel on a sling. Sig Sauer Romeo 4 XT Pro, Vortex 3X Unity risers, and Silencer Co Velos up front. Now, other gear, this was the belt that I used. This is my tactical belt. It has a Safariland QLS or whatever. I would show you, it has retention, but this needs a Streamlight TLR1 on it to work in there, but you have retention. I specifically used this because I knew I was going to be running around with the rifle and the gun was going to be holstered. The day before I shot, someone got DQ'd because their gun fell out of their holster when they were shooting the rifle section. So I didn't want something like that to happen. That's why we went with this setup. 2 pistol pouches, 1 rifle pouch. The second rifle magazine, if I needed one, well, I needed one, but the second rifle magazine I would just put in my pocket, going up to the stage, load and make ready, pull the one out of my pocket, throw in the gun. Then I would have one in the belt, and that would be my reload. I actually used this setup for a little while for USPSA, so it's more than enough. Don't think you need to buy special stuff for competition. You definitely don't. Going forward, I think what I'm gonna do, just for now, this is my USPSA rig. So this is some like no-name holster that you could I added this extra screw on here so I could actually tighten down retention for my MMP 2.0. Throw that in there, tighten it down. Don't have to worry about it falling out, and it has a little bit of retention. And then, I mean, you could just yank that out when you're ready to shoot pistol and not have a big deal. I'm a little more comfortable with that right now because I've been shooting more. Trying to be a little bit more competitive when I go. 2 pistol mag pouches. I have like a magnet here, so I guess I could have 3. This is mainly what I've been using for USPSA. I only have 2 spare magazines, which is, I've never needed more than that. And I just recently bought this, the Blade Tech AR mag holder. Gonna try this setup out next PCSL and see how that goes. So overall, should you shoot PCSL? Yes, go for it. If you shoot any competition, you should definitely shoot PCSL. If you've never shot a competition before, you should go shoot PCSL. It is very fun. We spend all this money on all this gear. You might as well use the damn stuff. Main reason why I shot it with the suppressor, because I spent all the money on the suppressor and the gun. That's why I shot it with it. Kind of burned carpeting on the end of the suppressor, but we'll deal with that. I don't know how yet, but I will. Another fun thing I didn't really think about getting into it was stage planning. You're basically stage planning for 2 stages because your rifle targets are in different positions than the pistol targets, so you kind of have to know what you're doing with each gun, where you're going to reload. One aspect I didn't really think of when I went to shoot it, so you need to work on some memory stuff because first stage, when I switched to pistol, I was ready to go. And then for some reason, I threw a reload coming out of the first position after like 4 shots or something like that. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Oh, didn't mean to do that. Kind of like first stage jitters and not really being prepared for it, but it is what it is. So that's the video. I'm gonna shut up now. If you enjoyed it at all or learned anything or anything like that, hit the subscribe button. Leave some comments down below if you've shot a match, if you're going to shoot one of the matches or anything like that. Use the Amazon links down below if you wanna support the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strapped or get clapped.